We're continuing in our series through the book, How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk by Faber and Maslish. We first did the section on helping your kids deal with their feelings, and now we're in the section engaging your child's cooperation. And we've talked about a number of things before, but today we're going to start talking about how to express your feelings to the child, your feelings when you want to get their cooperation. So talk about your feelings. Don't disparage the child's character or personality. Just talk about how you feel about what they're doing. So as usual, we refer to their comic in the middle of the chapter to illustrate it. And the first one they have today is of a son pulling on his father's sleeve while the father is at the store trying to pay for their purchases. And instead of saying, "Stop that, you're a pain in the neck," how about if we tried something like, "I don't like having my sleeve pulled." It's a statement of a fact. It's a fact about how you feel about having your sleeve pulled. It does not disparage the child's character or personality. It's a clear communication. This is the beginning of helping our children learn that the way other people feel, other people's preferences, has something to do with the behavior that we choose so we can get along with our families, with our friends, and in our communities. So another example here, it's a boy. It's not clear if he's coming in the door or going out the door, but I'm not really sure. But the mother is at the sink in the kitchen, and instead of saying something like, "What is wrong with you? You always leave the screen door open," maybe we could try something like, "It bothers me when the screen door is left open. I don't want flies on our food." Again, you see the difference here. One is kind of a condemnation and a belittling of her son's capabilities. What is wrong with you? And then she makes this absolute comment, "You always leave the screen door open." That's not good to do in a marriage either, but it's kind of putting blame and shame on the child instead of simply saying, "It bothers me when the screen door is left open." Notice she didn't even say, "It bothers me when you leave the screen door open." It's simply a matter of the screen door is left open. It doesn't matter who's doing it. The act of the screen door being left open lets the flies come in and get on the food. So children are entitled to hear their parents' honest feelings. Now, by being honest, we need to be careful and tactful about our honesty, not just blowing up like a volcano and saying, "Well, that's just the way I feel." By describing what we feel, we can be genuine without being hurtful. Another example that they have here, it's a mother talking to her son, and she says, "You're rude. You always interrupt." Instead of that, maybe she could try something like, "I feel so frustrated when I start to say something and I can't finish." I can relate to this mother. It bothers me when kids do it. It bothers me when adults do it. In fact, one of the most powerful ways you can disrespect me is by not listening to me. And one of the ways we show that we're not listening is by interrupting. But when somebody does it, and especially if it's our child, it's simply a matter of explaining how we feel and communicating that in a respectful way. When parents are being helpful, they're talking about their feelings only, and they use "I" and "I feel." Again, they're not blaming the child, and they're not shaming the child, and they're not disparaging the child's character or personality. So here's another example. A little girl looks like she's got a present in her hands, and her father sitting in the chair looking at her, looking angry. And he says, "What do you mean I have to take you? You sound like a spoiled brat." Well, I don't know that I've never said anything like that, but it's a good reminder that there are other ways to say things and communicate even more effectively and powerfully. How about instead of that, if the father said something like, "I object to being told I have to do anything. What I like to hear is, Dad, I'm ready to go. Can you take me now?" It's easier to cooperate with someone who is irritated or angry when they're not personally attacking you. And again, every single one of us can relate to this, even when we're looking back on how our own parents parented us or how we want to be treated by other adults. In either case, all of these make sense. And if we think about it, we can relate to it in a way that will help us better understand our kids and better communicate with our kids if we're taking a little time to think about it. See you on the next edition of Parenting Matters with McCracken.